You gotta start meal prepping these low-calorie muffins. We got chocolate chip and double chocolate chip. They're super soft, super fluffy, and only require a few ingredients to make. They're only 80 calories per muffin, and you can meal prep muffins for the entire week. We're gonna start with our wet ingredients by cracking 1 egg into a bowl. Please no shell, please no shell. No shell! Break the yolk and whisk this up real well. We wanna get everything nice and frothy together. No streaks of egg whites should be seen. My favorite sweetener is erythritol. It bakes like sugar, it crystallizes like sugar, it looks like sugar, and it doesn't have that weird metallic aftertaste that stevia does, which is why so many people don't like stevia. We want to go in with 69 grams. And then to add some protein and creaminess, 50 grams of Greek yogurt. A fat pinch of vanilla extract. There's never enough. I love this stuff too much. And also a pinch of salt. Now whisk all this up, get it nice and combined. The smells are crazy. It's like butter creaming, except there's no butter. We're gonna make 2 types of muffins, regular chocolate chip muffins and then double chocolate protein muffins. We're gonna use the exact same batch of wet ingredients for both recipes. So split the wet ingredients in half. Half of them is gonna go to the low calorie chocolate chip muffins. The other half is gonna go to the double chocolate protein muffins. Bowl number 1 is gonna be dry ingredient bowl. We're gonna go in with all-purpose flour, 40 grams of this. This is what's gonna make the muffin super fluffy, super cakey, and rise perfectly. And then bowl number 2 is gonna be our chocolate bowl. We still need to go in with all-purpose flour, just not as much of it, only 25 grams this time. And then to hit 40 grams protein powder, I'm gonna use chocolate whey protein powder to enhance the chocolate flavor. Any whey protein powder will work. If you use casein, the muffins won't rise as much. Whey protein provides that fluffiness and that rise. I know whey protein can get drying in protein recipes, but there's enough wet ingredients and there's enough flour in this recipe where it's still gonna stay nice and moist. I'm sorry, I said the M word. So don't use casein, otherwise these will turn too small. They're not gonna rise at all. They're just gonna be tiny little blocks of moistness, which can be good if you're eating flan, but we're trying to make muffins, okay? 15 grams of chocolate protein powder, around half a scoop. I just buy the giant bulk bags of protein powder from My Protein Powder, 11 pounds, so it's a ton of protein that'll last you forever, but I use them in recipes. I don't really drink protein shakes because my appetite's too big. I don't have room to drink calories. But we need to enhance the chocolate flavor of this, and cocoa powder will do the trick. I'm gonna use dark cocoa powder. It's literally the best. It's Oreo powder. This is what they use for Oreos. That's why Oreos don't taste like chocolate. It's incredibly dark, not very bitter at all, and not super chocolatey. But the color this gives the recipe is awesome, so 5 grams. There's also natty cocoa powder, natural cocoa powder that's not processed with alkali. It's much, much, much more bitter than dark cocoa powder, but also tastes way more chocolatey. You can use either one. If you use this, it's gonna be a little bit more bitter and a little bit more chocolatey. If you use this, it's gonna be deeper and darker in color and less chocolatey tasting. Mix your dry ingredients. I mean, if you just look at the color difference, it's very, very different. Natural cocoa powder is just so much lighter in color, so it's not gonna give recipes that deep, dark brown color. Whereas black cocoa powder looks like an Oreo was literally crumbled up and put into a jar, and it tastes exactly like that too. Ooh, I forgot one thing. We need to add a tablespoon of water into our wet ingredients. Mix this up real quick. And I also forgot that both of our bowls of dry ingredients need to rise, which means add a pinch of baking powder into both of them. It's heat activated, so whenever it hits the oven, it's gonna actually make things rise, versus baking soda is activated by an acid, so it doesn't really need heat. It just needs something acidic like vinegar or lemon juice to cause bubbles. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Preheat your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit right now. The muffins are about to go in soon. We have all our wet ingredients and we need to divide this in half. The best way I've found to do this is give all of this a good mix to get the erythritol floating everywhere. Otherwise it's gonna sink to the bottom and stay there. 10 grams in this bowl, 10 grams in this bowl. Just keep spooning the mixture equally until both bowls have the same amount of liquid. We gotta add chocolate chips to both of these muffins, and my oven's ready. I've frozen chocolate. I'm in California. It is hot here. Chocolate melts fast. I like chopped chocolate because every chunk, every bite has a different texture and different size. Keeps things very exciting. Mini chocolate chips just get boring. Everything's the same throughout. You need that excitement in muffins. So I chopped some chocolate and put it in the freezer because otherwise it literally just melts into a giant glob. It's way too hot here. I don't have AC in my apartment. I wish I did, but I have a fan in my room. Keeps me going. If it gets really cold, I open the window and then more heat comes into my apartment. It's a lost cause. Don't want to overmix the muffins because that's when flour makes things turn into bagels or pizza. You want to mix as little as possible because that keeps things fluffy and not super dense and chewy. So mix the wet ingredients, pour it all in. Slowly, just keep mixing, but don't go crazy whisking this. it's just gonna make it way too dense. You know how bagels are super chewy and have that harder texture? Same with pizza, same with bread. That's because you have to knead the dough a lot, and that's what happens, the gluten forms. But muffins, pancakes, cakes, you wanna mix as little as possible to keep things light and fluffy. There's a few clumps of flour in there, but that's okay because they're gonna go away when we add in 9 grams of chocolate. I'm saving a little, tiny bit of grams to top it off. Give these a spray of oil. Tablespoon in. Mix it. Erythritol is always sticking to the bottom. Come on, I need erythritol to float. Pour it in. That dark cocoa powder is gonna make these black. Not even brown and chocolatey, black. It's great, I love it. What shows did you guys watch as a kid? While all my friends were watching cartoons, me? Food Network, Cooking Channel. Guys Grocery Games, Guy Fieri could be my father, I'd be okay with that. I'm sorry, Dad, I'm kidding. Chopped, Cupcake Wars. I mean, that's literally what I would watch. I'd wake up before school, make my bowl of Cheerios. I'm kidding, I would never eat Cheerios. Make my bowl of Reese's Puffs, the best cereal. It's a fact, not a debate. And I would sit there, watch Cooking Channel, and then I would go to school. It was fantastic. Cartoons were dead to me. Chocolate chunks. See how much watery this batter is? That's because of the whey protein powder. The whey protein powder gets watery, but when it bakes, it absorbs things and it gets very, very dry. Last few bits of chocolate go on top. And these are ready to be baked. Batter's the best part. I left a whole lot of batter to eat. After 20 minutes, they are done. Let them cool at room temperature for at least 10 minutes. I'll have the calories and macros for the chocolate chip muffin on the screen now. It's around 80 calories and 4 grams of protein per muffin. And then for the double chocolate chip protein muffin, it's around the same amount of calories, around 80 calories per muffin, but a little bit more protein, 7 grams of protein. So if you ate 3 muffins, you're at 240 calories and 21 grams of protein. 3 of these protein muffins are beating a lot of protein bars out there in terms of calories and macros. So protein bars, I'm disappointed in you. You can just meal prep muffins instead. Check out my cookbook, by the way. It has over 100 recipes that help me lose 100 pounds. It's incredible for helping you lose weight or just stay satiated and enjoying your diet in a healthier, lower calorie, higher protein way. I'm constantly updating it, and once you buy it once, you get all the updates for free. It's so soft on the inside, so fluffy. These muffins just flake apart perfectly. It has no aftertaste of protein, like a lot of protein goods have. What's the difference between a cupcake and a muffin? In my opinion, cupcakes have frosting, muffins don't.